Today's lesson is going to be exciting. How would you like to make more of your banks? How would you like to not have to adjust as much as you think for speed and spin and things like that? Well, I'm going to show you today how I aim. It's something that I just discovered maybe 3 weeks ago or so, and I've been experimenting with it some and trying to find the breakdown points because every system has a breakdown point, and I'm just waiting for this one. So let's talk about how I aim. First of all, I aim with my shaft, similar to Shane Van Boning does. I don't know his system exactly. I think that he aims at the edge of the ball versus me aiming at the contact point. That's the major difference. But it's the same principle. We're going to start with 3 being the middle of the shaft and 1 being either edge of the shaft, 2 being in between 3 and 1 on both sides. So if I'm cutting a ball to the left, I start with the middle, it's 3, 2, 1 to the left, 1 being the edge. If I'm cutting a ball to the right, it's 3, 2, 1 to the right. This is especially important in banking for the way that I do it. And without further ado, I will show you exactly what I do. Okay, now let's talk about how I aim. So when I talk about a 3 shot or a 2 shot or a 1 shot, these are all cut angles. 3 being no cut angle at all, meaning a straight in shot, which is the middle of the shaft. Okay, that's a 3 shot. A 2 shot is a slight cut, left to right, but you're going to read from middle to the left if you're cutting to the left, and middle to the right if you're cutting to the right. This is what a 2 shot looks like. Again, I'm aiming the second part of my shaft through the middle of the ball, still through the middle of the cue ball, through the contact point on this ball. So if you can see that I have a straight in line. If I only had the second part of my shaft, then I would aim that line through the middle to that point on the object ball. Okay, and if I'm doing an extreme back cut, then I would aim 1 being the left edge of my shaft at the contact point, which is there. Okay, still going through the middle of the ball, the cue ball, and in such a way to where the edge of my shaft would end up touching the contact point. So this is a 1 shot. Now this is especially important in banking. Now let me transfer that to the banking system. Now I won't call this a system because if you're looking for like a 1-row banking system or something like that, this is not what I'm offering. What I'm offering is a banking technique to help you make more balls at different speeds. So, and without having to adjust your cut angle. Okay? Now that's a loose reference. Disclaimer. I am not teaching a 1-row banking system. I'm teaching a 1-row banking technique to help you pocket more balls at different speeds. If you're looking for a 1-row banking video, I'm sure Dr. Dave has 1 or 2 or 3. In fact, I think I saw one the other day where he's got, I think the 10 most common maybe bank systems or something like that. So go check those out. I'm teaching a banking technique to where you can pocket balls at any speed and have some confidence that you're going to make the ball. So let's get into that. So the first thing we need to determine is what type of bank it is, and that would be either a 3, 2, or a 1 bank. So let's start with a 3. A 3 is a straight in bank, just like a straight in shot to the pocket, right? And then you would have a slightly back cut angle, which would be a 2 bank, and then you have an extreme back cut, which would be a 1 bank, which is the edge of the shaft. You're still aiming at the contact point. So what I want you to do is set up a straight in bank. I'm going from the 20 to the 10 line. Okay, it's just a rolling cue ball with a high ball. Okay, just a normal steady pace shot. And that's where that's about your initial speed that you're going to start with on all these banks. So here's some examples of some 3 banks. 3 meaning the middle of my shaft, 3 aimed at the center of the cue ball into the contact point on this ball to bank it to that pocket. Okay, 3, goes to here, it's a straight line. It would be a 2-bank if I were back cutting the ball to that position. Okay? So here are some 3 shots. Now, if you're going into the rail at a slight back cut or a slight cut angle, then that becomes a 2-bank, meaning you aim the second part of your shaft at the contact point on the ball. Here's some examples of some 2-banks. All right, and if you're back banking, very extreme back bank, then you're going to use the left edge of your shaft at the contact point. This would be a 1-bank. Okay. Now, why this is important is because that is your starting line and your starting speed, just a normal stroke speed for those type of shots. Again, you have the 3, the 2, and the 1. But what happens if you have to hit it a little bit harder? Now, most people, if they have to hit the ball harder than just a normal stroke speed or a rolling cue ball, pocket speed, whatever you want to call it, they will typically tighten up the angle, they will usually widen the angle because they know it'll shorten up whenever they hit it hard. But what I want you to do is keep the same contact point and change your tip placement. So instead of this being a 3-bank straight into the pocket, if you have to hit it firm, I want you to take and aim the second part of your shaft at that spot on the ball. Because naturally, and I'll show you what happens, here's a normal 3-bank, right? When you adjust to 2, it naturally will widen the angle for you, but you don't have to think about it. So I don't want you to do that. I just want you to aim at the contact point, but change your tip placement. If you're hitting it firm, shoot 2 through the middle of the cue ball, through the middle of that contact point on the ball, the same visual, and hit it firm. And if you have to hit it hard, hello, this is Sanji, the Wonder Cat, the neediest rescue animal in the world. She likes to help too, but she's on thumbs. Okay. Run along now. All right, now if you have to hit this very hard, you want to adjust to 1 on the shaft, which is the left edge of the shaft, to the contact point and hit it hard. These are for your power draws and things like that. Okay, now when you start adjusting to the 2 angle, 2 banks, now that becomes your gauge for your rolling ball. So your rolling ball is 2, so to hit it more firm, you're going to hit it with 1. So you're going to aim 1 at your contact point, which is the edge. And if you want to hit it harder than that, we're going to go to what I call -1, which is a little bit of a visual issue. There you go. And when you're doing a 1-bank, now I typically don't bank 1-banks extremely hard, and I don't usually do 1-banks unless I'm playing 1 pocket. So I've never really seen the need to bank them super hard. You can experiment with that some now that you know kind of the concept of how you adjust. You're going to adjust that 1 increment over, right? so you can start making the adjustment for yourself and just see what works for you. Again, I'm typically not making these balls hard anyways, because of the fact that being that thin of a hit, the cue ball is going to naturally want to travel around table a lot anyway. So, and really the only time you'd want to hit something hard is to either shorten it up to get around something or to get around the table. So keep that in mind, and hopefully this has been helpful to you. Hopefully this will give you at least a gauge for what to do. And again, it takes some feel and it takes some practice. Nothing here is guaranteed and nothing here is automatic. So spend some time working on this, and if it works for you, great. And if not, I'm sure there are other things out there, other systems out there that are just as helpful. But this seems to work for me. Again, thanks for watching. Me and Sanji the Wonder Cat are going to a pool tournament now. So happy shooting, everyone. And, and we will talk soon. Thank you.